calling for an emergency vote of no confidence today.
Yes.
Well, you're shitty at math, Jack. Because even if we lost McKernan, one client is not enough to turn the partners against me.
Did Jessica's leadership push the firm to the brink of chaos? Watch as Hardman and Harvey clash, putting everyone on the line to determine Jessica's fate. It all started when Jack casually handed Jessica an envelope mentioning it contained a formal notice. Jessica, taken aback, quickly realized the gravity of the situation. Jack was initiating an emergency vote of no confidence against her that very day. She scoffed, dismissing his actions by pointing out that losing one client wouldn't be enough to sway the partners against her. But Jack was confident. He insisted she recheck her math, claiming she had underestimated the severity of the situation. According to him, every partner was on the brink of losing their biggest client due to her poor leadership. Jessica countered, suggesting that the only hostile takeover Jack was really interested in was the one brewing right there in the office. Jack told her to take a good look around because by the next morning, her name would be off the office doors. Frustrated, Jessica stormed off to find Harvey, her right-hand man, only to be met with his absence. She demanded answers from Gretchen, who coolly replied that she didn't know where Harvey was.
Where the hell is he?
I don't know.
Gretchen, I swear if you want to have a job tomorrow, you better tell me where Harvey is.
Next on her list was Lewis. She reveals Jack's plot to oust her as managing partner. Lewis was stunned, questioning why Jack would do such a thing, especially after Jessica supposedly offered to make him a named partner. But that isn't the real story, is it? Jessica corrected him. There was never such an offer. Instead, she had told Jack to resign, shooting down what Lewis referred to as our plan. Jessica made it clear that it was never their plan, but rather Lewis's insane idea that she never intended to follow through with it. She pressed Lewis, emphasizing the urgency of the situation. They needed to rally more support than Jack and Daniel had managed to gather. She instructed Lewis to dig up whatever dirt Daniel had on Jack and do it quickly before 7 o'clock that evening. Why the rush? Because if they couldn't secure the votes in time, the only way to win this battle was to make the whole problem disappear. Understanding the gravity of the situation, Lewis turned to Donna and told her to cancel his day.
Cancel my day.
Lewis made an unexpected visit to Hardman's office, bypassing Stacy with such ease that it caught Hardman off guard. Curious, Hardman couldn't help but inquire how Lewis had managed to get past her. Dismissing the question with a wave of his hand, Lewis got straight to the point. He demanded to know what leverage Hardman had over Jack Soloff. Coolly, Hardman replied that he had nothing on Jack except his trust and a belief that he was a better lawyer than Jessica. Infuriated by the comparison, Lewis replied that Hardman wasn't even worthy of cleaning Jessica's shoes. Hardman shot back, suggesting that cleaning her shoes was more of a job for Lewis, not him. The conversation quickly heated up as Lewis recalled a previous threat he had made against Hardman. He warned Hardman to reveal any dirt he had on Jack within 15 seconds or face dire consequences. However, Hardman had a twist up his sleeve. After Lewis had previously threatened his life, he had informed his lawyers about Lewis's violent threats, and now Lewis had done it again, this time with a witness present. Confused and feeling trapped, Lewis asked who the witness was. How could he have been so careless? Hardman signaled to Stacy, who confirmed she had recorded everything. Hardman then taunted Lewis, noting that security would be there in 60 seconds, so if Lewis wanted to make a move, now was his chance. But instead of physically attacking, Lewis swore that he would uncover whatever Hardman was holding over Jack. Hardman doubted Lewis would find anything by 7 o'clock. He then shifted the conversation to reveal a more personal leverage he had, not over Jack, but over Lewis himself. He threatened that unless Lewis voted against Jessica that day, his sister's company would be destroyed. His client was looking to expand into the muffin business, which just happened to be where Lewis's sister had her company. Shocked, Lewis demanded Hardman leave his sister out of this dirty game. Hardman replied he would, as long as Lewis voted to remove Jessica as managing partner. Feeling the weight of his predicament, Lewis expressed his inability to comply with such a demand. Hardman coldly threatened to not only buy, but also tear apart Lewis's sister's company. Hardman justified his ruthlessness by reminding Lewis of the actions he, Jessica, and Harvey had taken against him in the past. Now, Lewis faced a harrowing choice: his loyalty to his firm or the welfare of his family.
You leave my sister out of this.
Sure thing. As long as you vote to remove Jessica.
I can't do that.
Then, I'm not only gonna buy it, I'm gonna rip that company of hers apart.
Lewis approached Jessica. He hadn't uncovered anything on Jack, but that wasn't the only pressing matter he needed to discuss. Before he could explain further, Jessica cut in with some potentially game-changing news. She had successfully secured the necessary votes to stave off the vote of no confidence. How did she manage it? Well, she had managed to sway Paul Porter and the 3 votes he influenced. However, even with Harvey's support, their lead was razor thin. They were only up by 1 vote. But Lewis had more troubling news to share. Hardman was targeting his sister Esther's company, and he wouldn't back down unless Lewis voted against Jessica. Jessica listened intently as Lewis unraveled a complex situation. Hardman was relentlessly pursuing Esther's company, despite Jeffrey agreeing not to sell his shares at the premium price offered by Hardman. Hardman had a strategy for every scenario. If he couldn't acquire the stocks, he would go after the distributor, and failing that, he would target the contract itself. To make matters worse, Forsman was backing Hardman, meaning his resources was practically limitless. Jessica understood the gravity of the situation, acknowledging that Forsman's involvement meant Hardman had the upper hand. She could have reassured Lewis that they would find a way to save Esther's company if he sided with her, but she too has a sister and understood Lewis's position. Feeling trapped by the difficult choices ahead, Lewis apologized to Jessica. Despite the challenges, Jessica reassured him that Pearson would always consider Lit a partner regardless of the outcome. Overwhelmed with frustration after Lewis left, Jessica allowed her emotions to get the best of her, sweeping her belongings off her table in a fit of rage. A while later, Donna entered. She and Jessica discussed the situation further. Jessica expressed her understanding of Lewis's predicament, emphasizing that no one but Hardman was to blame. Donna offered her help, and Jessica quickly tasked her with finding Harvey.
I asked Gretchen to find Harvey this morning. I asked the wrong person. I'll find him.
As the tension in the room mounted, Jessica took the floor, resigned to the fact that Harvey wouldn't be joining them for the crucial vote. She addressed the partners, acknowledging the concerns some had about her leadership, suggesting that she might have prioritized personal interests over those of the firm. She expressed her hope to continue serving the firm, yet didn't attempt to sway the doubters any further. Just as Jack asked the group to proceed with the vote, what happened? Harvey burst into the room, determined not to miss this pivotal moment. He declared if Jessica wasn't going to change minds, he certainly would. Jack, slightly annoyed, acknowledged Harvey's presence but doubted his influence on the proceeding. He challenged Harvey to deliver his speech so they could move on to the vote. But Harvey wasn't there to give a long speech. Instead, he dramatically revealed a termination letter announcing that the company targeting their clients was no longer associated with Daniel Hardman. Jack dismissed Harvey's claims as nonsense, prompting Harvey to retort that Jack would need to contact Hardman through the prison system. Harvey explained that the attacks on the firm were personal vendettas by Daniel aimed at hurting Harvey by destabilizing the firm. He highlighted that Daniel's resources and influence were now depleted, leaving him powerless. Harvey's words struck a personal chord, emphasizing that removing Jessica would be the firm's biggest risk. He stressed that Jessica treated everyone not just as colleagues or even as friends, but as family. This revealed her true strength and why she was indispensable as a leader. With the room swayed by Harvey's heartfelt defense, Jessica, moved by the support, called for the vote. Lewis, sensing the shift in sentiment, suggested they might not even need to cast ballots since it seemed clear where everyone stood. He initiated a show of hands in favor of keeping Jessica, and guess what? All hands went up except for Jack's. It was clear the firm overwhelmingly supported Jessica, and Jack's plot was thoroughly defeated. The group's unity solidified Jessica's position at the helm, much to the relief of everyone who had rallied behind her.
Then I guess everyone here is happy keeping things the way they are, except for one.
Jessica was curious and concerned and asked Harvey how he managed to secure the termination letter from Forsman. Harvey suggested postponing the discussion until the morning, but Jessica pressed on. Harvey then revealed a significant decision. He agreed to step down. Jessica immediately objected, insisting that nothing was final yet. Harvey, however, tried to reassure her, explaining that she had sacrificed enough for the firm and it was time someone else made a sacrifice for her. Jessica expressed her reluctance to accept his decision, to which Harvey replied, asking for her forgiveness as he had already made up his mind. How do you think Jessica will handle Hardman's relentless attacks moving forward? Share your thoughts in the comments down below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates.